Hey guys, welcome back to TROOBS, your outdoor ball kicks connoisseur. If you don't already know, TROOBS brings you my reviews, tips and experiences on outdoor basketball shoes. So if that's something you're into and you haven't subscribed already, please do. This video today is part performance review, part nostalgic look back at one of my favorite shoes from a few years back, and partly a guide from my perspective on what we should look for in an outdoor basketball shoe if we're buying one ourselves. So, we're going to be taking a look at these bad boys. Shout out to wear testers. This is the Nike Air Max Dominate XD. Now, as you can see, these aren't new anymore, not by any stretch. I don't even play in these anymore because they are just too smooth. That traction pattern is worn out completely. But I got a lot of mileage out of these, and there are a lot of things about them that I absolutely love, which is why I think it's worth doing a video on these and also discussing some things that I wish Nike, Adidas, Jordan, Under Armour would bring back in some of their shoes for us outdoor hoopers. This is the last outdoor specific shoe from Nike that I was ever able to get my hands on. It's also one of the last outdoor specific shoes that they made. You can see here, it's rubbed away completely there, but you can see here that it says for outdoor use, which is not something you see anymore on shoes from Nike. First off, the name, Nike Air Max Dominate XD. The XD actually stands for extra durable. XD actually used to appear on a few different Nike models. There was the Nike Hyper Enforcer XD and the Nike Hyper Franchise XD, and there was this one, of course. And all of these shoes were designed to be extra durable, not just in the traction department, but also in the construction of the upper. So the shoes were designed to take a lot of beating and to withstand pretty hard use. So this shoe had that extra durable construction, and it also had Nike's blade traction, which you can see here. This traction pattern is really thick, not super flexible, but it's designed to give you really good grip on outdoor concrete surfaces and also to be really, really durable. So you can see how thick the pattern is there at the heel where I've barely worn into it at all. But over many months, I think I wore these for close to a year, playing 4 days a week. These wore down completely at the forefoot. Another great thing about this blade traction pattern is the extra wide space that you can see between the herringbone that's used on the bottom of the shoe. That extra wide space allows for some of the debris that you find on an outdoor court, pebbles, rocks, twigs, to not get stuck, but to instead just fall out really easily. That's a great thing for playing outdoors, where usually you'll find courts are quite a bit dirtier than you might get on an indoor court. Quick side note, some of you might be familiar with Nike's XDR designation. So XDR stands for extra durable rubber, which is slightly different to Nike's XD designation, which we see on this shoe. Extra durable rubber just means that an existing shoe, say for example we take something like the Nike PG, they take this shoe, which has a nice traction pattern, good grip, but really won't last long outdoors, and they replace the soft, pliable rubber that is used on the standard model with an extra durable rubber compound. So this supposedly gives the wearer slightly more grip and definitely slightly more durability outdoors, but nothing is changed to the upper of the shoe. So extra durable rubber is something that you will often see in Asian markets. They're very popular on Chinese releases, and you can buy them in the Philippines sometimes, places like that, Taiwan, Hong Kong. Hard to get in Australia, hard to get in the US unless you buy from one of those Asian retailers. But again, Nike XDR is simply a change to the traction compound. Nothing changes about the upper. Nike XD, on the other hand, means the entire shoe has been designed to be extra durable. Now, for whatever reason, Nike doesn't make XD basketball models anymore. In fact, they seem to have moved away from making XD models almost across the board. The only one I was able to find with a quick Google was a Metcon model for CrossFitters. Why? Probably business. I reckon Nike's quite happy to produce pretty expensive indoor options, which we then take outdoors and burn through in a couple of months, because then we buy more shoes. Makes sense, but it's kind of a bummer. Adidas does actually make the occasional outdoor basketball shoe, but they seem to get zero publicity and they're really hard for me to find here on shelves. I only ever find them online. So some of you might have heard of the Adidas Ball 365 series, but probably not. I tried them, they weren't a great shoe, they weren't terrible, but if you have a look at the traction pattern, you can see Continental rubber. So they were putting Continental tire rubber compound on the traction pattern of their shoes for outdoor hoopers, and that was great. Wasn't a great shoe overall, but traction was fantastic. So, what do I love about this shoe? Let's go through that in order. Again, I've got this list of 8 different qualities that I think are important. First of all, traction. You can see a little bit more of the traction pattern here on my left because I don't pivot on that foot quite so much. So like I mentioned at the top, great durable traction, really wide spaced herringbone, great coverage, whichever direction I was moving, forward and back, side to side. And the main thing for outdoor basketball was that this traction pattern really lasted. I said earlier that I think I got close to a year of very solid play out of these, which is a heck of a long time. Can't really ask for more than that. Now, if you compare this to something like the Dame 4, which is a shoe I love, really great shoe for indoors, but you look at that traction pattern right there, and you can see how, first of all, there's hardly anything on that sole. And secondly, that rubber is really, really soft, which is great for gripping a hardwood court, but it'll burn through in no time, leaving you with a smooth shoe. Now, sometimes people say, well, why not go to some of the cheaper Nike models? So this is the Nike Mamba Mentality 2, which was that cheaper model. I think this was like $120 or something. Nice traction pattern, widely spaced, but I played in one of these outdoors and that rubber just burnt through in 2.5 months, I think. And then, this is a very low profile shoe, which means hardly any cushioning. Once the sole burnt through, I was left with almost nothing between my foot and the concrete. Not ideal. Great looking shoe, great for playing indoors, not a great outdoor option. Cushion. So, this shoe has an Air Max unit in the heel, which is good for landing right there, and then just a fairly standard Phylon midsole. So Phylon is nothing special, but a lot of how comfortable Phylon feels depends on how it's used in each particular iteration. This shoe I found really nice, responsive, pretty low to the ground once you step into it. That's how it felt. And the Phylon was just enough for impact protection, stop the bones from aching after a long day. Nothing amazing, it wasn't really bouncy, but it did the job. Price? Price for these is almost irrelevant really, because you can't buy them anymore, aside from a few people selling them on, I think on Amazon I might have seen them. But given that these were a 2012, 2013 release, if you're buying them, even dead stock, brand new, you run the risk of the glue and the materials having dried out. So, but I paid about $80 for them brand new back in 2013 or 14, I think, which is a great price for an outdoor shoe if you're going to buy Nike or Adidas, one of the big American brands. At the time, before I knew of other options, seemed like a great price. Still not bad considering you're buying from the swoosh, which tends to be pretty expensive. Materials is another area where that extra durable construction really shines through. First of all, you've got this toe drag portion here. It's a fused sort of overlay. But this is almost like grip tape on a skateboard. It's really rough, really durable. You can see on my left toe, I did manage to wear through it, but it didn't cause a hole in the upper. It just wore through that layer. So aside from that overlay, you've got pretty nice, probably synthetic, I can't tell, but leather, good thick cuts, which are great for support, but also for just providing really durable layer of protection between your foot and the outside of the shoe. So even though I played in these a lot, there aren't really even that many scuff marks on them. It's definitely a big plus for that. Then on the inside, you've got a sock booty. Not my favorite thing. I tend to prefer separate tongues, but this worked really well. And nice mesh there on the sides, which is really comfortable. That also leads me into ventilation. Because of that mesh and the perforations on the tongue, these were fantastic for playing outdoors as far as ventilation goes. You won't be able to see, so I won't bother showing you, but the mesh is so well spaced, the holes in the mesh are so well spaced that I can see light shining clearly through to the inside of the shoe. So you can see how that would help with ventilation. I had no issues with the fit on these. They fit true to size. I wear a US 11 in everything Nike makes pretty much, and didn't go wrong with these. Nice wide toe box, so I didn't feel like my toes were jammed up at the front, pinched together or anything. There was a little bit of heel padding, so that helped with keeping my heel locked in for a good secure fit feeling. Fit was great. The weight, even though there's all that leather that I talked about and they're built with a heavier traction pattern, thicker, all of that stuff, they're not a hugely heavy shoe. These were 408 grams per shoe in my US 11, so definitely not the heaviest I've played in. Plus, because they fit true to size, when you put them on, lace them up right, and once you've broken them in, they just feel like an extension of your foot as much as a 400 gram shoe can. Support. These are obviously a low cut shoe, so it has all the things that a low cut shoe needs in order for it to feel really supportive. We've got a little bit of an outrigger there, you can see. That bit juts out, so that did help with stopping my ankle rolling. Again, there's that heel and ankle padding around the inside of the shoe that helps with lockdown. Nice wide base, pretty flat, so it's good for just landing nice and flat without promoting any rolling from side to side. Standard lacing system, but that worked really well. I was able to lace everything up nice and tight, exactly the way I wanted it. And overall, no complaints about support in these. There's nothing special, but it takes all the basics and does them right, which is what counts. So in conclusion, would I recommend this shoe? Yes, if you have to go Nike, if you're one of the guys that has to stick with the tick, then this was a great shoe. If I could find it on shelves again brand new today, I'd probably buy a pair. It comes in some pretty great colorways. I know it's reliable. I know exactly what I'm getting. So for $80, that doesn't seem like a bad deal. But like I've mentioned in my previous videos, and like I'm going to continue to explore in videos to come, you can get 2 pairs these days from some of the China brands, Peak, li-ning, Anta, 361 degrees, X-Tep, which I'll be discussing in a video soon, for the same price as one of these. And you can get some things like end-to-end cushion, a lighter shoe, different colorways, brand new shoe. That kind of complicates things, you know? But I wouldn't hesitate in recommending these shoes if price was not an issue. I would say go for it. So these were a great shoe for the time, and they really opened up my eyes to the things I valued in an outdoor basketball shoe. Probably most of all, great traction, durability in the traction, durable materials, and just a shoe that's going to be able to withstand the harsher playing experience that comes with hooping outdoors. So that's it for this video. Something a little bit different, maybe even educational. If you guys liked it, please let me know down in the comments below. I love to hear from everyone, and if you have anything you'd like me to address or explain, a topic you'd like me to cover in another video, please let me know as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned, more videos coming soon.